Hey, great Monday morning, everyone. Hope you're doing well. My name is Cesar Mascoro Jr., and I am with Manufactured Home Sales Mastery. Hope you guys are doing fantastic and that you had a great weekend. Just adjusting the height here on my desk. So, anyway, it is 15 Minutes to Mastery. It's January 8th, and you are here getting your day off on the right foot. This is what we do each and every morning. It's 15 minutes of just some information to get your day going, get your head right, and sharing some quotes to get you focused in on the day. I used to do this on the daily basis as I was making my way into the office. I'd be driving. I'd send my team a quote, send them a little bit of a little message to go along with it, so that we can get prepared for the day. So we are bringing this to you out there all across the globe. Anyone who watches this, who pays attention, who might just need it because the world is full of negativity. We constantly get bombarded with bad news. And so I want to be that spark. We here want to be that spark for you each and every morning. So we are starting with today's quote. And today's quote is a great one because this week I wanted to talk about preparation and how important it is to be prepared. How important it is to be prepared, not just for the week or for the day, but to be prepared for anything that may come your way, right? Because a lot of times what happens in our world, especially anyone in sales, right? Any type of sales, you get caught off guard on something you don't know, something you're not ready for, and it throws your whole game off. And now you're playing from behind, so to speak, right, with your customer, and you end up not being as effective as you possibly could be. You end up not getting the business because you're not prepared. And there's a huge difference between being prepared and just knowing what to do. And I'm going to explain this because I found this quote and I thought it was tremendous. It's so powerful that I needed to come in and share it with you on preparation. Okay. So today's quote says this: to be prepared against surprise is to be trained. To be prepared for surprise is to be educated. Okay. It's kind of got a lot to it there. All right. So I'm going to break it down for you. We're going to unpack this here real quick. To be prepared against surprise is to be trained. To be prepared for surprise is to be educated. So what all does that mean? All right. Let me break this down for you. To be prepared for surprise, right, is to be educated. Let's take that second part of the quote. Okay. It says to be prepared for surprises, to be educated. In other words, what it's saying there is you knowing the information, or you knowing, let's say it's martial arts, you knowing the moves, or you knowing what to do in whatever situation. That's education, right? That's knowledge. And knowledge is great. It's great to have the knowledge. You have to have the knowledge, right? That's being prepared for a surprise. When a surprise happens, oh, okay, this is how it should go, right? Now, the first part of this quote says to be prepared against surprise is to be trained. To be prepared against surprise is to be trained. So, a quick question for you. Would you rather be surprised or would you rather not be surprised? When we're talking about business, I understand, man, in life, hey, surprises are great, right? You send your wife some flowers and she's not expecting it. That's great, right? It's a huge win on your part. You love to get an unexpected gift, right? Those are the great kind of surprises. In business, surprises, not so great. Most of the surprises we get are bad. Most of the surprises that come at us are unexpected things that set us back, right? So we want to be prepared against surprises, especially in sales. And what does that mean? That means anticipating what is going to happen. And I, as I'm coming up with, or not coming up with it, but as I'm sharing this information with you, something popped into my head. So I was training with some housing consultants. We were going over the interview process a few weeks ago, and we were talking about the importance of the questions that we ask and how we ask them and why we ask them and the information that we need to get from them. It can't be just surface level answers. It can't be the first thing that they give you. You've got to dig deeper for it. And the reason we're doing that is because in the information that you get from those questions, you can already start to anticipate what the objections are going to be. And so now you are working your whole presentation against that objection without the client even realizing it, right? And so let's say for instance we're talking about we were going this training. This pops in my head. We were doing this training. And we started talking about, okay, where are you going to place the home, right? That was a question we were at. We were talking about placement of the home. And there were some other instances before this, but this is the one that pops in my head right now. So I'm going to share this with you. Okay. Why is it important that you ask this question? Well, it's important, obviously, because you want to know where the home is going to go, obviously. All right. However, let's break this down even further, right? It's going on family land. And this is obviously, it applies to manufactured home sales. So let's say that the customer is placing the home on family land. Great. Whose land is it? It's my uncle's. Perfect. Is your uncle letting you know that, is your uncle aware that you're trying to place the home on there? Yes, he let me know. He told me that I can place it on there. Perfect. Has there been a home on this property before? No, there hasn't. So obviously the next question from there is, okay, what about the utilities, right? What's going to happen? Water, sewer, electric, foundation, everything that needs to go on there so the home can go on there. Well, we have to get that on there. Great. Have you guys discussed that? Have y'all talked about who's paying for it and how much it's going to be? No, we haven't. Got it. Okay. So now I'm already anticipating the fact that even if I can get this customer financed, let me break it down for you. Even if I can get this customer qualified, even if I find him the perfect home and it's in his budget or her budget, the main objection is going to be what? Well, I don't know what the cost is going to be able to have the house on there. I don't know what it's going to cost me to get water, sewer, electric, and whatnot. And so the next question from there is what, folks? Right? The next question from there is finding out, okay, let's say, for instance, in most situations, most of the customers that are buying a home, they're placing it on a raw piece of land right now. It's running anywhere between $25,000 to $30,000 in improvements for everything that needs to get done. Are you paying that out of cash? Do you have that in cash to cover that? Or are you trying to include it in the loan? Well, no, I don't have all the cash. Great. Now here we go, right? Here is where your main objection is going to come from. This is going to be the main thing. I mean, the house, yes, obviously, right? If they don't like something about the house, whatnot. But the main thing is you won't even, it doesn't matter how perfect the home is. It doesn't matter how perfect the payment is. If you can't get the home on the property and make it habitable, if you can't get water, sewer, electric, and there's no money to be able to do it, and you haven't addressed it up front, and you haven't been able to come up with a solution, I don't care what you do. You may sell them that day. They may be all excited about getting the house, but then the reality sets in later on down the road, a week or two, when you start actually getting into this thing, when you should have gotten into it in day one of, well, hold up, I can't get the house because it's going to be $25,000 for improvements. Yeah, you knew that a week ago. But you as a salesperson, because you're trying to avoid or you're not really getting into it, you're not anticipating the surprise, which there is, shouldn't be a surprise. Now you know what it is. So what I'm getting at here is being trained means that you already are thinking against those surprises. You are anticipating what those objections are. Being educated. And that's where most salespeople get confused when we start talking about why we need to train. Why a company like mine, Manufactured Home Sales Mastery, when I'm talking to retailers or I'm talking to communities or I'm talking to housing consultants and they start thinking, well, what is this guy going to do for us? And why should we even contract him? The reason for it is because of this very thing. Because you could be closing and you could be shutting down a whole lot more business if you just had the proper training. If we got into it and actually dug deep into why we ask these questions. What is it that we're looking for? How do we dig deep? How do we ask the bold questions? And how do we take that information to be able to maneuver through the whole process as we're going through the sale on day one and be able to completely solidify a solid transaction in spite of the fact that they may have $25,000 in improvements that need to get done to the property that they're not aware yet of how they're going to be able to get it done, right? Because you were trained to go against the surprises. So that is the importance of it. That's the importance of being prepared. And there's a difference in preparation. You can be prepared in knowing about the business. I know that they need to have the house. I know they're going to have water, sewer, electric. I know that it's going to probably be about $25,000, $30,000 if it's raw land. That's being educated. Being trained is knowing how to overcome that objection on day one and being able to get the business, but not by avoiding it. Don't get me wrong, because too many salespeople out there avoid that. And then it comes up later on down the line, a day or two or a week later. And then you end up losing the deal. And it's just, man, I thought they were going to be able to get the money put together. Or I thought maybe the uncle was going to let him use the land as collateral. When you could have known this up front had you just been trained enough to be able to ask the right questions and ask in a manner that's going to get them to open up and be more effective with your sales presentation. And that is what we bring to the table here at Manufactured Home Sales Mastery. It's that deeper level of understanding of how people work when they're making decisions to make a purchase of their very own home. Too many times we've got too many salespeople out there, and it's not any fault of yours. I'm telling you right now, and retailers, same thing, and communities. It's just you haven't thought this thing far enough ahead to understand it. I'm speaking mainly to the independents and retailers and communities out there. And that is what we bring to the table, is getting you that higher level of training to get you prepared to be able to work against the surprises, objections, as opposed to having to be prepared for them. Okay. There's a difference. So those of you that just got on right now, the quote for today said this, okay? And it's very, very it's got a lot of substance to it. To be prepared against surprise is to be trained. To be prepared for surprise is to be educated. So I'm going to take it I'm going to show you a different example of this, okay? That's not in sales. That's not in manufactured home sales, right? Because it's what can pop into my head right away. I'll use a personal example. Okay, great. Here we go. All right. I could decide to, let's say, take up some sort of martial arts. Right? I've thought for a little while about possibly getting into some sort of jujitsu or that kind of thing, right? Now, being educated, like it says here, to be prepared for surprise is to be educated. That would be me going to class and learning a certain technique, right? And knowing that, hey, okay, if I get in this situation, this is what I need to do. That's me being educated. But it takes me training. It takes me working with someone. It takes me being taught and actually going through the motions of everything and actually physically putting myself in that situation to be prepared against it, because now it's just natural. Now this happens and boom, I'm able to get this done and execute and be able to walk away safely, right? Or to handle that situation. That's being trained. Being educated just means that, if that happens, this is what I should do. But then guess what happens? It happens, and I didn't train for it, so I don't know how to really execute it. And so guess what happens? Boom, I'm out. It's the same thing in business. It's the same thing in sales. You could know what to say. You could know how to address a certain situation, but actually training, actually having somebody come in that works with you, that gets you ready to go and actually being able to execute it, that's being prepared against surprise, against the objection. And that's what we're doing for the folks of like the likes of Mobile Home Masters, which is going on in Tyler, Texas, where we've shared with you the last 2 months, man, 200% increase in revenue, profits, and everything goes along with it. This month in January, it'll be 600% increase. Can you believe that? And what we're doing for Derek and A1 Housing in Monroe, North Carolina, it's that training. It's that actual preparation against surprise, as opposed to being educated and being trained for the surprise or being prepared for the surprise. So that's the message that I have to you. That's why we need to talk. If you want to take your retail location, your community, or if you're a housing consultant, want to take your own business, want to take your control of your own career into your own hands, man, and reach out to me, and we can do this individually. All you got to do is reach out, manufacturedhomesalesmastery.com, get on there, schedule a call. We'll talk. We'll figure out if you're a right fit for our company, because we don't just take anybody, man. We want to make sure that we're on the same page and that you are truly dedicated to reaching that next level. It's not just about taking people's money. I'm telling you right now, I'm after something bigger than that. We here at Manufactured Home Sales Mastery, our mission is bigger than just taking people's money. It's to actually reach results. All right. So don't forget, we'll be out in Louisville, Kentucky for the Louisville show. I'm excited about that, man. We've got our new Manufactured Home Sales Mastery wristbands. Very cool. Right on here. Go next level. Awesome. All right. And it's got the company name in the back. We'll be handing these out over there. Got a different one as well, which is Manufactured to Win. There you go. Manufactured to Win. I know it's upside down. Sorry, man. But and we've got some other cool stuff we'll be giving away. I'm excited about this next week out there in Louisville, Kentucky. But for now, we want to talk to you. We want to help you. We want to help prepare you against surprise, not for surprise. We want to take you to that next level. We want to take you to an elite level. We want to take your business to an elite level. So reach out to us. Let's talk about our consulting services. Let's talk about our training services, which are incomparable. There's nothing else out there like it, folks. Plus the fact that we are doing it for a purpose is the other difference. Huge difference. We aren't here to take people's money. We're here to show you results, because we're after something bigger than just even training you. It's the people that you're serving, the people that you're helping. Our mission is to help as many people out there become homeowners, but we can only do it by making sure that you and your team are operating at the highest level possible. You guys have a great week. Have a great Monday. And as always, I can't wait to meet you.